Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight. I am joined today by John Redmond, or SteriBite. And what I'd like to do is give the floor to John so he can introduce himself and tell us a little bit about the company. So, John, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thanks. I appreciate it. My name is John Redmond. I've been in the medical device business for well over 40 years. Started my career with various larger companies like Johnson & Johnson, American Hospital Supply Company, and B. Braun of Europe in various sales marketing positions. And a number of years ago, this is actually my fourth startup. And a number of years ago, when I was working with B. Braun of Europe, I had the brilliant idea that I could do it better than they could and started my first startup, a surgical instrument company, which taught me a lot. And since then, I've kind of been a serial entrepreneur and sold 3 of the companies and working on hopefully selling the 4th.
That's outstanding. Having 3 successful businesses that you have launched and been able to sell and working on your 4th is a statistical anomaly. So congratulations on your success. That's outstanding.
Thank you.
So if you set the stage for us a little bit on how SteriBite is actually constructed, how is it working or how is it set up? Is it you? Are you a solo owner? Do you have partners? Walk me through a little bit about what you got going on.
So the genesis of SteriBite, when we sold our last company, which was a surgical instrument company, I had a team that's been with me for well over 20 years. And, engineering partner, financial partner, customer service partner. So I basically said, look, the one that we wanted to get sold didn't sell for enough to where people got some of their option payments. So I said, look, I'll do it one more time. Let's start it up. I'll give you guys 50% of the company. I'll keep 50% and let's do it again. Because we had a really good idea for the SteriBite. So that's what I did. So my 3 key people are my engineering partner, my finance partner, and my customer service partner. So the 4 of us, and we've done various capital raise rounds. So I have a number of non-executive outside investors as well.
Sounds like consistency is key, taking a team that you've been successful with and continuing that journey with those same people. I think there's a lesson to be learned there. When it comes to making this business what it is, John, what would you describe or how would you describe why SteriBite is special compared to the marketplace?
So in the medical device business, first of all, we're an FDA registered company, which you have to be to do business in this space. But we're really kind of a niche focused product that's focused on spinal surgery. This particular product is. And in spinal surgery, in every spinal case, if a number of people listening, I'm sure, had spinal surgery, one of these devices was used on their back or neck. And it's basically a reusable cutting instrument that removes bone that allows the surgeon to get to where he needs to get to do whatever it is he's doing on your back. So it's problematic with these devices. They're reusable. They get dull. You have to process them. They're not always clean as they should be. So sometimes there's infections with them. So our concept was that instrument more than any other instrument. And by the way, it's the most problematic instrument. Everybody knows it's a problem, but there wasn't a really good solution. So we had an idea of let's make this disposable. But to do that, it needed to be scalable, it needed to be economically feasible, and it needed to be as good as, if not better than the existing one. And therein lies a lot of the challenges that we faced with this product. So, but we're on the market, we're doing well. We brilliantly launched it right at the beginning of COVID when all of the hospitals shut down all surgeries. So we had a challenge there as well.
So since then, right, COVID restrictions have been changed ever so slightly or ever so aggressively, depending on how you look at it. How would you describe the success post-COVID for the device and the surgical procedures?
So just a little bit of brief history, I think makes sense for other business owners, is when we started out, we started with a set of assumptions that, quite frankly, proved to be incorrect almost across the board. So economically, initially, this has a stainless steel shaft. We thought we could do that with metal injection molding, which is very inexpensive and cheap. So we tried that. It turns out you can't make it long enough that way. You have to weld it. The minute you introduce a weld, the whole thing falls apart. It doesn't work correctly. So we said, okay, that's not going to work. How are we going to get these shafts made inexpensively? So we went to China. Bad move going to China. We couldn't get a consistent product. The pricing was okay. Then we tried going to Germany. The product was great. It was way too expensive. We finally found a company here in Ohio, a machine shop, a small machine shop that would make it at a price point that made sense. So we kind of contracted with them. Later, we decided we were a little worried about consistency and what was going to happen to that company. So we actually bought the company. So we bought the machine shop. And then we moved more manufacturing steps inside of that shop because of everything that was going on in the world. We said we want to do as much in-house as we possibly can. So along the way, we made a lot of mistakes and misjudgment and had to really kind of change gears numerous times. And I think tenacity for us was the most important aspect of our business is, there's a problem, you have to figure out a way to solve it. And it seemed insurmountable, quite frankly. But I think we did the right steps, and we now control our manufacturing, and that was probably the smartest thing we ever did.
I like it a lot. And the idea that you made comment of, you made some assumptions, then you made some decisions, and then you had to act on it. So you've actually put yourself in a better position, right, to control your own destiny because you were able to make the right decision after you corrected whatever assumptions that didn't go your way. Is that a fair assessment, John?
Yeah, and it's been, I'm doing broad stroke kind of issues. There's been minor things along the way that's, made this product, quite frankly, in 40 something years in the medical device business, focused on surgical instruments. This is the most difficult product I've ever made in my entire life. And if anybody would have told me when I started this, that was going to be the case, I would have said, you're crazy. It's a surgical instrument. How hard could it be? I've made spinal implants, complicated devices, all kinds of things in my career. And this was the most difficult one that you think is easy, but it's not.
Well, if it was easy, anybody would have stepped up and done it. So kudos to you and the team. So how many people now are working with SteriBite? You've got yourself and your 3 partners. What does the team consist of?
So we have 10 employees total, and a number of those are in the production in the shop in Wooster, Ohio, machinists and so on. And the key members, again, are basically, well, my head of the machine shop, myself, an operations manager, my CFO, and my engineering partner. So that's basically our management team.
Fantastic. When you are looking to build the team, what are some of the things, John, that make your team special, and how do you find those people?
So, the core management team, as I said earlier, are people that we've been together for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't need to go out and fill those key positions. And one thing I've learned in my career, again, by making numerous mistakes, is when you're hiring people, better to leave that to the professionals, because my gut about somebody is usually wrong. So, I found it more effective to, let the professional HR people kind of make those decisions. So right now we're not hiring, machinists and people like that are all we're hiring. Our key members are all set.
Is there anything particular, John, that you like to hang your hat on with respect to the culture and the overall vision and mission of the company?
Well, first of all, business ethics, I think, is the number one that we've kind of prided ourselves on. Some of the medical device business can be a little shady. If you watch the news, you kind of see some things, and especially, quite frankly, in spine, there's been some practices that we deemed they were legal, but we said, just because they're legal doesn't mean they're ethical, and we don't want to do that. So we kind of made decisions to do things maybe a little bit different. The other thing I'm most proud of is just our tenacity. We just, because we have investors, when I take somebody's money, take that very seriously. So we just have been tenacious in getting this product to where it is today. And now we're making a fantastic product. It's really starting to take off. So just ethics and tenacity, I think, are the two things that I'm most proud about with my team.
I like it. And those are solid things that people can learn from. Couple minutes left here, so I'm going to give you some of those rapid fire questions, okay? What is the key to success for you? Are we going to say business ethics and tenacity, or anything else you want to add to that?
I think those two things are critical because people do business with us because we're ethical and we stick it out.
Okay. What's the one piece of advice you would give 18-year-old John?
Wow. Boy, I don't know. And just keep trying. That's it.
Okay. Now, what would you say to somebody that's starting their own business? They're going to be that serial entrepreneur like you. What advice would you give them?
I would say when you're doing your business plan, pick a date when you think you'll have your first product launched and add a year to it. Develop a budget that you're 100% certain how much money you're going to need, double it. And, figure out what you're going to sell and reduce it by 2. And I think if you do those things, you'll probably be successful.
Okay. So build your plan so you're a year away. You're going to take twice as much money and earn half as much. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Unless you're smarter than me, which hopefully you are.
Well, if you plan like that, and everything's upside, so that seems really good, right?
Yep.
Okay. Last thing for you. What is the most inspiring thing for you today?
I think, if you go into a surgery, especially a spine surgery, I think the dedication of the spinal team, from the surgeon to the nurses to the support staff to the sales reps that are up at 5 a.m. to deliver the set to the hospital. I mean, and the fact that how this team really has the patient in mind 100%. Everybody's trying to do the right thing for that patient. I think anybody that's spent any time in the operating room in this business knows that that's the case, and it's a really dedicated group of people.
Outstanding. I love it. Okay. Any last words that you'd like to give the audience?
No, just keep on keeping on. Owning your own business is exciting, fun, and rewarding. And if it's right for you, go for it.
Outstanding. John, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And that is, once again, another edition of the Business Spotlight. John, thank you so much. Thank you. Look in the description down below for more information about John and his company. Bye, everybody.